Good morning, guys. Welcome to reading class. Let's continue talking and reading the story, A Visit with Grandpa. A Visit with Grandpa. Remember, the story is about Justin and his grandpa. Justin lived in the city and Grandpa lived in a ranch in Missouri, in a prairie. Justin was a very particular and peculiar boy. He didn't like to help at home because he said he thinks that housework is just for women. So he had problems with mom and with his sister because they are always after him, telling him, do your bed, pick up your clothes, okay, clean your room. And he didn't want to do it because he thinks, remember, that housework is just for women. So one day, Grandpa went to visit him and he invited him to go to the ranch. Justin was happy and he agreed. So they went to the ranch, and when they were at the ranch, Grandpa did everything. Grandpa prepared breakfast, Grandpa washed the dishes, Grandpa cleaned the house, cleaned his room, and he suggested Justin that he has to clean his room, unpack his clothes, see, unpack his clothes and hang the clothes on clothes hangers, so the clothes are not going to have wrinkles. And also, Grandpa says to Justin that he's going to take him to a festival. Justin was happy. But when Justin saw that Grandpa was doing everything, that Grandpa has the house clean and his bathroom was a mess, he felt like ashamed, like embarrassed. So he started trying to fix everything. And Grandpa says, don't worry, I am going to teach you how to do a bed. Because Justin didn't know how to do it. Remember those housework? He never do that. That's why he didn't know how to do it. Then Grandpa and Justin went to riding fence. They were riding fences, okay? Riding fences was check the fences. Remember that Grandpa live in a ranch. He has ranch animals, okay? Animals like cows, horses, and the fence needs to be in good condition. Otherwise, animals are gonna stray. Se van a salir y se van a perder. So, because they are going to spend the whole day in the outside of the ranch in the prairie, Grandpa packed some supplies. He packed some flour, raisins, bacon, I think, or smoked pork, because he knows they are gonna eat outside the house. So here in this page suddenly says, when they were there outside of the ranch, he saw a dog. Look at this part of the fence. There is an animal here, an animal tangled with the wire. It's a little dog. Suddenly he saw Dove standing close to the fence. Follow the reading, please. You have to be watching the camera, watching the screen. No one has to be copying or coloring or writing. Victor, sit down properly. You don't have to be laying down. Hi, Daniel. Camera. Okay. So what happened here? Hello, Diego. What happened here? Suddenly he saw those standing close to the fence. Look, Grandpa, he said. She seemed alarmed but did not run away, though eyes usually look peaceful and sad. Justin remembered. Her widened, hers widened with fear. Okay, the eyes of this little dog white was wide open because he was afraid. The dog was afraid. Then Justin saw a fawn caught in the wire of the fence. Quickly, they got off their horses. They hitched them to a post and moved cautiously toward the fawn. The mother rushed to the fence, but stopped just short of the sharp wire. Stay back and steal, Grandpa said to Justin. She doesn't know we will help her baby. She thinks we might hurt it. She wants to protect it. The mother pranced restlessly. She pawed the ground, moving as close to the fence as she could. Near the post, the fence had been broken. The wire curled there dangerously. The fawn's head caught in the wire, bled close to an ear. Okay, bled, sangró cerca de una oreja. Because look at the wire. It has some pointy things and it hurts the animal. Whenever it pulled its head, the wire cut deeper. Entre más jalaba, pues más se lastimaba. Grandpa quickly untangled the fawn's head. Blood flowed from the cut. Oh, Grandpa, it will die, Justin said sadly. No, Grandpa assured Justin. Luckily, we got here when we did. It hasn't been cut long. The fawn moved toward the door. The mother, as if giving her baby a signal, bounded off. The baby trotted behind. As they mounted their horses, Justin suddenly felt weak in the stomach. What happened when you feel weak in your stomach? What happened? What happened, class? When you feel weak, when you feel something in your stomach? It is time for, or it is time to? Eat, exactly. It is time to eat. Remembering the blood, he trembled. Some people cannot stand the blood. What about you? When you see blood, how do you feel? You feel like your stomach is not good, or you want to throw out, to vomit because you saw some blood. So here, Justin remembered the blood and he trembled. So Black too seemed uneasy. The horse was not calmed down. He moved his nostrils nervously and strained against the beat. He arched his neck and sidestepped quickly. Justin pulled the reins. Whoa, boy, says. Let him run, Grandpa said. Justin kicked Black's sides and off they raced across the plain. They ran and ran. Justin pretended he was rounding up cattle. Then Black turned and raced back toward Grandpa and Paul. Remember that Black and Paul are the names of the two horses. Whoa, boy, Justin commanded. Justin felt better and Black seemed calm. How did the horse calm down? Running. Justin ran and ran and ran with the horse, and the horse finally calmed down. Justin felt better and Black seemed calm. Ready now to go on riding fence? Okay, they are ready to continue checking the fence. The sun beamed down and sweat roll off. Justin, sweat when you are playing and running a lot, so you are sweating. Drops of sweat roll off from your face as he rode with Grandpa, looking for broken wires in the fence. Broken wires, because they are riding fences. Okay, they are riding fence. They are fixing broken wires. They were well away from the house on the far side of the ranch. Flies buzzed. Flies are very annoying. When we are eating and there are flies flying around, they are very annoying. Moscas volando, okay? They are buzzed around the horses and now nuts swarm in clouds just above their heads. The prairie resounded with songs of the bluebirds, the bobwhite quails, and the mockingbirds mimicking them all. Mimicking. So these birds were imitating everything they heard or imitating the other birds. The cardinal's songs, as lovely as any, included a whistle. Justin thought of Anthony and how Anthony whistled for Pepper, his dog. Whistle like, can you whistle, class? Who can whistle? Raise your hand. Whistle, you can. Some people never learn how to.
I can see whistle.
That's a whistle. And that's the action. That's the action. But a police officer or an umpire in a game use a whistle, something like this. And they blow up and indicate something like this, and indicate that the game was over, or when a player make a fault, so the umpire whistle the whistle. Okay, continue. It was well past noon and Justin was hungry. Soon they came upon a small, well-built shed, securely locked. Nearby was a small stream. A stream is like a small river. What did you do in SWAT? Why did you need a fork and a knife? You stand up and you brought a knife and a fork. Okay, we will have our here. Here nearby was a small stream. Stream is like a small river, right, Daniel? Grandpa reining his horse. When he and Justin dismounted, they hit the horses and unsaddled them. We will have our lunch here, Grandpa said. Justin was surprised when Grandpa took black iron pots, other cooking utensils, and a table from the shed. Justin helped him remove some iron rods that Grandpa carefully placed over a shallow pit. This would hold the pot. Now Justin understood why Grandpa had brought uncooked food. Comida sin cocinar, comida cruda, uncooked food. They were going to cook outside. Yeah? What do you say?
Me, Crystal, I can help to read.
Okay, and the next page, sweetie. First, they collected twigs and cow dung. You know what dung is? Cow dung is popo de vaca. Popo de vaca. When it is dry, is a very good fuel. Cuando está seca, es un muy buen combustible. You can fire it up. Okay, el popo de vaca. So they collected twigs and cow dung. Grandpa called it cow chips. Así le llama Grandpa. Cow chips, el popo de vaca. These, Grandpa said, holding up a dry brown pan, make the best fuel, el mejor combustible. Gather them up. Le está diciendo a Justin, gather cow chips. There were plenty of chips left from the cattle that had fed there in winter. Soon they had a hot fire. They have a hot fire. Okay, Crystal, here. Justin
washed it as Grandpa carefully washed his hands, and then began cook their lunch. When I was a boy about your age, I used
About your age, about your age. So, cuando yo era un niño, como de tu edad, about your age.
I used to go with my father on short runs with cattle, bring them down from the high country on the plains.
Onto the plains. Did you stay out all night?
Common things and that
Sometimes.
sometimes, and that was at the time I like most the cook often made for supper what I am about to make for lunch.
Okay.
Put
Raisins.
raisins into a pot with a little water and
Es que no tenés internet. Sofía, chequeala aquí.
over the fire. Justin was surprised when Grandpa put flour in the
Flour in a separate pan. Harina, flour. Continue.
He used his fist to make a hole right in the middle of the flour.
The flour. Here. In that
hole, he placed some shortening. Then he added water with his long, delicate fingers. He mixed
the flour,
water, and shortening until he had a nice round
mound
of dough.
Thank you. Soon, smooth circles of biscuits sat in the iron skillet. Okay, this is the skillet. The biscuits are inside the skillet. This is a skillet. Okay, and in an iron skillet with a lid on top. A lid, una tapadera on top. That's the lid. Grandpa put the skillet on the fire with some of the red hot chips scattered over the lid. Okay, so he took some of the red hot chips. Remember, the chips is the cow popo, the cow dung. So that chips were red, burned, very hot. So he put it on top of the lid. So what did he do, or what is he doing? He's baking. Él está como horneando. Y cuando se está horneando necesita calor por abajo y calor por encima. That's why he put some red things on top. And see, scatter over the lid. Justin was amazed. He was surprised. How could only those ingredients make good bread? But he said nothing as Grandpa put the chunks of smoked pork in a skillet and started them cooking. Soon the smell was so delicious. Justin could hardly wait. Finally, Grandpa suggested that Justin take the horses to drink at the stream. Drink some water. Keep your eyes open and don't step on any snakes. So imagine Justin's eyes when he says, don't step on any snake. Justin couldn't imagine there were snakes over there. So I guess he was scared. He was scared when Grandpa says, keep your eyes open, don't step on any snake. Justin knew that diamondback rattles sometimes lurked around. Diamondback rattles. Estas son serpientes de cascabel. Tiene un rattle, un cascabel. Y tienen una peculiaridad en la espalda que son como diamantes. Diamondback rattles sometimes lurk around. They were dangerous. He must be careful. He watered Black first. While watering Paul, he heard rustling in the grass. His heart pounded. He heard the noise again. He wanted to run, but he was too afraid. He looked around carefully. There were two black eyes starting at him. He tried to pull Paul away from the water, but Paul refused to stop drinking. Then Justin saw the animal. It had a long tail like a rat's, but it was as big as a cat. Then he saw something crawling on its back. There were little babies hanging on as the animal ran. A mama opossum and her babies. You know what an opossum is? Es como un guasalo. Como, I'm gonna teach you opossum. Es como un guasalo. Kinds of like that. Let me show you. Como una, I don't know, zarigüeya, could be. Can you see this picture? Look at it. Can you see it? Kristen, where are my students? Look at this. This is an opossum. And look at the babies. Babies are on its back. On its back. This is an opossum. Look. The mother is carrying the babies. Okay. Maria Fernanda, look at the screen, please. This is an opossum. And the story mentioned this animal. Says a mama opossum and her babies. He thought and was no longer afraid. Of course, when Justin listened the noise that is close to him, he thought it was a snake, but it wasn't. It was an opossum and her babies. By the time the horses were watered, lunch was ready. Justin said as he reached for a plate. The biscuits were golden brown, yet fluffy inside, and the sizzling pork was now crisp. Never had he eaten stewed raisins before, Grandpa. Oh, sorry. Never had he eaten stewed raisin before. Okay. Nunca antes él había comido pasas cocidas o cocinadas. On estofado. Grandpa, I didn't know you could cook like this. Justin said when he had tasted the food, I didn't know men could cook so good. What about in your house, class? What about in your house? Can your fathers cook?
No. My dad is in Carolina,
North Carolina. Okay, and the rest of you guys?
But I have a nanny. Yes, my father
can cook?
Cooking.
Can cook?
Yes, in your house.
Some
yes,
men cook very well, very, very well. Some men cook very, very well. Okay, so, and this is what Justin says, I didn't know men could cook so good. Why, Justin? Some of the best cooks in the world are men. Exactly. The best chefs around the world are men, not women, are men. Justin remembered the egg on the floor and his rice burning. The look he gave Grandpa revealed his doubts. It's true, Grandpa said. All the cooks on the cattle trail were men. In hotels and restaurants, they called them chefs. How did you make these biscuits? That's a secret. One day I will let you make some. Were you a cowboy, Grandpa? I'm still a cowboy. See, I'm still a cowboy. No, you're not. Yes, I am. I work with cattle. So, I am a cowboy. Okay. Now, we are going to continue reading this page. We still need to read 3 more pages. 3 more pages. So after no, 4 pages. Here, up to the end of the story. Okay, let's read one more. We finish the class, and on the next class, you are copying the questions. I see that we didn't finish the reading today, so you cannot copy the questions yet. Here, you know what I mean. The kind who rides bulls, bronco-busters. You know what a bull is? Son toros. A cowboy says, you know what I mean. Tú sabes lo que yo quiero decir, preguntándole si es un cowboy al abuelo. That was he was doing. Pero un cowboy como the kind who rides bulls, bronco busters, that kind of cowboy. No, I am not that kind, but I know some. Are they famous? No, but I did meet a real famous black cowboy once. When I was 8 years old, my grandpa took me to meet his friend, Bill Pickett. Bill Pickett was an old man then. He had a ranch in Oklahoma. Were there lots of black cowboys? Yes, lots of them. They were hard workers too. They busted broncos, branded cows, and drove cattle. My grandpa tamed his Mustangs. Bet they were famous. Oh no, somewhere. Bill Pickett created the sports of bulldogging. You will see that at the rodeo. One cowboy named Williams taught Rough Rider Teddy Roosevelt how to break horses. And another one named Clay taught Will Rogers, that comedian, the art of roping. Grandpa offered Justin the last biscuit. When they had finished their lunch, they led the horses away from the shed to graze. As they washed the horses, Grandpa went on. Now, there were some more very famous black cowboys. Jesse Stahl. They say he was the best rider of wild horses in the West. How could he be? Nobody ever heard about him. I didn't. Oh, there's lots of famous blacks you never heard or read about. You ever heard about Deathwood Dick? Justin laughed. No. Justin is asking for cowboys. He's interested in that. He wants to know about cowboys. And Grandpa was mentioned some of them. And Justin realized he didn't know them. He had never heard about any of the cowboys Grandpa was talking about. Okay, class. In the next tomorrow, I think we have reading tomorrow. Yes, we do. We are going to finish the story and answer some questions. So see you in a couple of minutes, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.